Greetings, YouTube. I've spoken about Ronald Reagan here on my channel before, and I think that he is one of the most morally reprehensible people in the history of the United States. I would place him number 3 as the most corrupt president in our history, though I would freely admit Grant is right behind him, with W being number 2, and of course the number 45 being the most corrupt. But Reagan is beloved by a lot of people, a lot of very rich white people, I should point out, but a lot of white people still have a lot of affection for him. Because you see, he very much supported the white narrative. Also, the bill for the billionaires. He did everything he could, and in the last year of his administration, was able to get taxes cut on the wealthy. He very much laid all of the groundwork for the war on the middle class, and he is the reason that there is a much smaller middle class in America now, and the reason that we have so much more wealth inequity in America. You can lay that all at the feet of Ronald Reagan and those that backed them. He threw mentally ill people out onto the streets because he didn't want to fund places where they were staying, like state hospitals. He fought against unions. He busted them. He sold cocaine. He sold arms to Iran. He trained terrorists on American soil and then sent them back to their home countries to rape and murder people, including nuns. He was a horrible human being, and on every level. He supported apartheid. He just, the list of things that he did that should go down in history as some of the worst things America has ever done um, was probably, it was the worst list ever until, of course, W came along and did everything he could to top it. And then, of course, 45 came in and ushered in an absolutely new era of blatantly open white nationalism. But those three right there, yeah, they're all staunch foot soldiers in the war of white nationalism against minority groups and gay people and trans people and women. Yeah. hmm But for me, the worst thing that he did was completely ignore the AIDS crisis and helped usher in the deaths of tens of thousands of Americans because in his mind and in the mind of the moral majority, the people that were dying were the right people. The right people were dying in his eyes. Yes, in Ronald Reagan's eyes, it was the gay people that were dying. So he was okay if gay men were dying in the streets. That was just fine with him. And even if I had no personal connection to that particular um, event and his actions, it would still be, in my opinion, the worst thing he did because he directly waged war on his own people because the people that he was killing through his indifference and through his administration's absolutely bungling of that crisis was because he thought the right people were dying. But I do have a personal connection to that, and that is my stepbrother Donnie. He was 34 when AIDS took him. 34 years old. He was a really talented bartender. He worked at a place in Boston called Buddy's, and there was a big neon sign in there that said Buddy's, and then the word gay would blink on and off. It was funny. And there they had a truck cab, a Mack truck cab, as their DJ booth. It was very damn cool. And he aspired to be a photographer, and he was good. He was a talented man, and he would have gone on to do some great things in photography. He could have still been a photographer today, except he died because the disease that ravaged his body and then killed him was ignored for so long and given no support and vilified by the President of the United States and his entire administration. I can remember visiting the AIDS Project where they had the banners that people had sewn for the victims. And I was with a friend of mine, and I'm standing in front of Donnie's panel. His friends had made it. People I didn't really know. And I'm just standing there looking at it, and I'm reading the names and the things that were about him. And I was just very much. And then my friend Tracy, who was with me, walked up behind me, and she put her hand on me. And I shattered like glass. And I just stood there and sobbed. So I lay that at the feet of Ronald Reagan. And if I could, I'd personally dig him out of his grave just so I could shit in his coffin. I imagine the line behind me would be long. There are a lot of people that despise Reagan for all of the crimes he committed, all the lives he cost. He was one of the worst people that has ever been produced by the United States of America. And he killed tens of thousands of people all over the world through his actions and through his inactions. He helped create the Islamic terrorist organizations out there that plague us now, which led to wars, which have killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people. It's all his damn fault. And I miss Donnie. And I wish he was still with us. And I'm really goddamn glad that Ronald Reagan isn't.